The laboratory hummed with tension as Admiral Davis stared through the observation window. Behind the reinforced glass, a team of xenobiologists in sealed suits hovered over microscopes and holographic displays. What they had discovered would rewrite galactic history. "It's confirmed, sir," Dr. Mason said, removing her helmet after passing through decontamination. "Every fragment of alien DNA we've examined contains traces of the same pathogen signature. The timeline matches our models." Davis nodded grimly. Humanity's first century of interstellar exploration had yielded countless abandoned worlds, magnificent cities left to decay, orbital stations drifting empty, and the haunting absence of any living intelligent species. Until now, the mystery had remained unsolved. "So you're telling me," Davis said, "that approximately 50,000 years ago, when humans were still figuring out agriculture, the entire galactic community was wiped out by a plague?" "Yes, sir. And the reason we survived is equally remarkable. The Galactic Council had thrived for millennia. 12 major species and hundreds of minor ones had built an empire spanning thousands of star systems. Advanced technology, seemingly magical to primitive eyes, connected their civilization across vast distances. On Earth, early humans huddled in caves, hunted with stone tools, and painted on walls. They knew nothing of the stars above them or the advanced beings that regularly surveyed their primitive development. Council protocols were strict. Pre-spaceflight species were to be observed but never contacted. Earth was just one of many worlds hosting promising young species. Footnote in the Council's extensive catalogs. None could have predicted that these cave-dwelling humans would someday inherit the galaxy. Dr. Mason guided Admiral Davis through the holographic presentation. The plague originated in the Proxima system. A mining operation disturbed something ancient, a bacterial organism that had lain dormant for millions of years in the ice. "Like our discovery of ancient bacteria in Arctic ice?" Davis asked. "Precisely, but infinitely more dangerous. This pathogen evolved to target a specific neurological structure found in all advanced species of the time." The hologram showed a branching evolutionary tree. Mason pointed to a particular node. "Every intelligent species in the Council evolved from the same ancestral genetic blueprint, spread by panspermia, except humans. We evolved completely independently on Earth. So this disease had no effect on us because we're, what? Too different." Exactly. While the Council species shared neurological similarities from their common origins, humans developed a completely different brain structure. The pathogen that devastated them couldn't recognize us as viable hosts. Davis stared at the simulation showing the plague spread. How fast did it happen? Based on our findings, less than a year. It spread through their transportation network before they even realized what was happening. Their medical technology was advanced, but they had no defense against something that targeted their fundamental biology. On Council world after Council world, the sickness spread. The symptoms progressed rapidly: neurological degradation, loss of coordination, and finally, complete neural shutdown. Quarantine efforts failed as the pathogen proved capable of surviving in suspended animation, waiting in empty ships and stations for new hosts. The Council's last act was to activate the automated preservation protocol, sealing their knowledge in vaults and setting orbital sentinels to protect developing worlds that might someday rise to claim their legacy. Then silence fell across the stars. The great civilization that had watched humanity's first tentative steps went extinct while humans were still drawing bison on cave walls. "The irony is breathtaking," Admiral Davis said, gazing at the artifacts recovered from an alien museum. "They considered us primitive, yet our very primitiveness saved us." Mason nodded. "Our ancestors survived ice ages, volcanic winters, and countless plagues of their own. Natural selection on Earth created something unique, a species unlike anything else in the galaxy. And now, we inherit their empty palaces. More than that, sir, we've recovered their records. Thousands of worlds they seeded with life, hundreds of promising species they were monitoring, all gone now." Davis frowned. "So we're alone? Truly alone?" "Not entirely. We've found evidence of 37 pre-spaceflight species that likely survived the plague for the same reason we did: independent evolution. but they're all centuries or millennia behind us technologically. Then we have a responsibility, Davis said, to protect them as they develop to be better guardians than the Council was. The first human colony ships spread cautiously across the stars, settlers moving into cities built by long-dead hands. Ancient technology was studied and repurposed. The accumulated knowledge of the Council's millions of years of science and culture became humanity's inheritance. But humanity brought something the Council had lacked: diversity born of isolation. Earth's separated continents had produced countless cultures, languages, and ways of thinking. This diversity became humanity's greatest strength as they approached problems from angles the homogeneous Council had never considered. In orbital stations above promising worlds, human scientists watched evolving species with a new protocol: not just observation, but protection. They silently removed space debris that might threaten developing civilizations and deployed shields against solar flares and cosmic radiation. The plague that had destroyed the Council remained contained in secure facilities, studied so that such a disaster could never happen again. The lesson was clear: biological uniformity created vulnerability. Earth's chaotic evolutionary history had produced not just immunity, but resilience. And the Council's Grand Archive, newly translated records, revealed a final message left by the last survivors. To those who find this, we failed as stewards of the galaxy. Our unity became our weakness. Perhaps those who follow will learn from our mistake. The stars await those different enough to survive what we could not. Admiral Davis stood at the view screen of humanity's first true battleship, watching as Earth vanished behind them. The vessel's mission: to locate and protect the 37 emerging species that might someday join humanity among the stars. Different paths, he murmured, remembering the Council's final words. Different strengths. Humanity had inherited the galaxy not through conquest or achievement, but through the simple twist of evolutionary fate that made them unique. Now they ventured outward, no longer alone, but uniquely positioned to nurture new diversity among the stars. The plague that had ended one era had unwittingly seeded the beginning of another, one with humanity as its unlikely guardian.